Welcome, everybody, to the 16th Wreaths Across America program. We remember the fallen, honor and serve the families, and teach the next generation the value of freedom. Why it took me so long was setting up here. I was getting a little message from up in Washington, D.C. My uncle's up there doing the same exact thing as I'm doing right now. Doing the same thing up there as y'all did this morning. Some 2,000 people showed up out here today. It's the most ever since we've been doing Wreaths Across America, which started in 2007. 2007, we was on the old side of the cemetery. We had 7 wreaths, 7. The next year, my wife and I and my uncle all got together and made sure we had some. So we had a tractor trailer, well, not a full tractor trailer load. We had 550 come down, and now it just keeps growing and growing and growing every year. This year, to over 29,500 and change. And that's remarkable. And I think that is because each and every one of you out there that stepped up to the pump, because it's been a heck of a year, and everybody still came through. Enough of that. The color guard post the colors.
And salute.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order. Colors. Trim. Colors.
Please remain standing for the chaplain Dillon invocation.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we thank you for bringing us together for Wreaths Across America to honor our fallen service members and their families as we pause to recognize their service and sacrifices they have made to defend our freedoms and our blessed American way of life that we love. And this morning, as we place the wreaths on each of these American heroes' monuments, may we take those stories and those names deeply into our hearts as we go forth in gratitude for the freedoms we have and to live in the greatest nation that stands for peace, democracy, and goodwill towards every American and around the world. We ask your blessings on our Wreaths Across America ceremony and everyone here. Help us to always honor and never forget as we truly stand on the shoulders of giants. Help us to pay this gratitude forward by action, by loving and serving others, as we give you all the praise, honor, and glory forever. Amen.
Please be seated. At this time, I'm going to mess your name up. I'd like Captain Shishadi to come up for a moment, please.
Thank you very much. I'm going to be quick, but thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak. The first thing I want to end up saying is, I know it's personal out there for a lot of you that are here today. I want to just say thank you for your service. If you were there placing a wreath on a loved one's tombstone, I know what that means, and I just want to know that it's important enough for me to share this with my family. So this is the second year I've been a part of this, and I am so excited that we have grown with the amount of wreaths that we've been able to place. So Buster and the Kiwanis team and everybody else that had a part, kudos to you, because this is just exceptional, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm going to share something personal. I'm going to step off. This morning, I brought my whole family out because I think this is important. And before we started laying wreaths, we took a moment. I told all of my kids and my son's girlfriend, Bella, there you go, how to actually do this, how to remember and honor those that have served the country and some that have given the ultimate sacrifice. So they did it, and they did it well, just like everybody that was here, to include all of the organizations, the Sea Cadets, the Civil Air Patrol, the men and women in uniform, the organizations out there. It's just amazing to see that. But I also grabbed them for a few seconds after they had placed a few wreaths and got them into a group, and then I made them kind of do a little circle and just watch everybody doing what they did this morning, and to recognize the awesomeness of what we've done here today. So I just want to end up sharing that I am so grateful to be here, to be a part of it, to have contributed a little bit, because when I think of what's important to me is being part of something bigger than yourself, and the community that brings us together, and for that I'm thankful and grateful. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate those words. This time, I'd like to take and have another gentleman come up. This guy is pretty special to me in quite a few ways. We've become friends over the years, and it's Captain Henry Casey. Tells me Doc. He's a character. He's a native of San Diego, California. He joined the Navy at age 17 in 1980. Still on active duty. So if your math is pretty good, that's about 42 years. Yeah. Close. Right at 42 years. 43, whatever. Anyway, as you can see what he's done, he's been around. And his enlisting career is a hospital corpsman at Naval Hospital Camp Lejeune, Naval Hospital Portsmouth, USS Fox, 3rd Recon Battalion, 3rd Force Recon Company. He graduated and follow-on tours with SEAL Team 4, SEAL Team 1. During his 15 years in enlisted service, he reached the rank of Senior Chief Petty Officer and made many worldwide deployments. Captain Casey earned his Bachelor of Arts in History from the University of Alabama at Birmingham in '95. He was commissioned through the Health Profession Scholarship Program and earned his medical degree from UAB School of Medicine in '99. I was digging down in here somewhere. I wanted to mention something. He has many assignments and deployed many times as a physician since 2002. 4 deployments to Iraq, 1 deployment to Africa. He was a senior medical officer on multiple tours. He was a regimental surgeon for the Seabees. Oh, yeah. Right on. So when I get up here and blunder stuff and can't speak, I'm a Seabee. Ain't gonna change. Ain't gonna change. With that, I'd like to have Doc Casey come on up.
All right. Can you hear me okay? In the back, we all right? Buster, thank you very much. Before I get into my prepared remarks, I just want to make a couple of other remarks. And the first thing that I want to do is compliment everybody that's here, because about 2 million people have volunteered today to do what you guys have done. So all across the nation, you guys are part of a roughly 2 million collective. And coming in here, I thought all 2 million people were here, okay? And there was traffic, and it was all kinds of stuff going on. But you know what? Not one angry word, not one angry gesture. Everybody was helping everybody do everything. So having that many people on board, boss, great problem to have, and you guys handled it magnificently. So I want to give you guys a round of applause first. So we talk about war, and we know that war is a heinous reality. It's been that way since the dawn of mankind. Some people have to be involved in war to protect their country and to protect their way of life. Today, we remember American veterans at these graves. George Orwell penned this: "People sleep peaceably in their beds at night only because rough men stand ready to do violence on their behalf." I'll modify that a little bit. It's rough men and rough women. We know that. Those are the veterans. Those are you. Those are all you active duty folks. And probably some of you future warriors in all the cadet programs and the Boy Scouts and everything else I've seen here. So the Wreaths Across America mission is to remember, honor, and teach. So we're going to start with remember and remembrancing. The poppy flower is the enduring symbol of remembrance. And that came from World War I. And to try to understand the magnitude of that horrific war, it defies description. We lost a generation. The world lost a generation. It was a world war. And the amount of suffering that happened on behalf of the soldiers and everybody that was involved, who later became veterans, as well as the civilian population, is staggering. If you get a chance, I would invite you to read a poem called "In Flanders Fields." It was written by a guy by the name of Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, who actually happened to be a physician on the battlefield. The other thing I would invite you to read about World War I is by another writer named Rudyard Kipling, and he wrote a poem called Tommy. So if you get a chance, look those up, and that'll give you a really good idea of what the world thought of World War I at the time. So the whole world was saved from tyranny by that war, and the future generation that followed them had the blessing of liberty that was given to them by the World War I veterans. A few decades later, Japan, Germany, Italy, they kind of got together. A little thing called World War II. Some of you are familiar with that. That was the next World War. So the poppy flower came out of World War I, but it continued to be the symbol of remembrance to this day, actually. And in World War II, that symbol of remembrance ended up being the American flag. So as we just saw the colors paraded, as we see the flags around here, what we as a generation need to understand is how special that flag became to the veterans of World War II. That was their memorial. I had the blessing of being raised by my mom and dad. My dad was a World War II veteran, and my mother was a World War II, what they call war bride. So she got married during the war. And the amount of sacrifice that that greatest generation gave, again, just staggers the mind. My mother told us a story over the years many times about some of those sacrifices. And I'd like to share just one of those stories and have you think about this. That she had a girlfriend that was also a war bride. And in a 4-year war, her girlfriend was married 7 times because all her husbands got killed. So that generation absolutely knows about sacrifice. Those veterans know about sacrifice. So I also had the blessing of being a physician that was able to take care of a lot of these World War II veterans as they got older. And we were losing them about 1,500 a day just from just growing older. And over the years with the honor flights and those things, once people understood that we were losing a whole generation of veterans, the whole country has rallied, and they've done so many different programs to honor those World War II veterans, to include things like this. And I was the doctor at the hospital, so I got to take care of a lot of them. And then when they got too feeble to come to see me, I would go make house calls to see them. And we would swap. I would swap them a little bit of okay medicine for some really, really great war stories. And one of those veterans gave me a card, and very simple card with very simple words. It said, if you can read this, thank a teacher. If you're reading it in English, thank a veteran. This world came so close to losing all the democracies and all the freedoms that we hold dear, that's another thing that I would task you with when you get a chance. Just research a little bit about how much was sacrificed for World War II. And we are the living recipients of that sacrifice. Today, in remembrance, we placed wreaths to remember and honor our veterans. The next pillar that I'd like to talk about a little bit is honor. One of the most... Hey, John? We got a couple on the way. Okay. All right, hold on just a second, folks. Julia, does he need any help? We good? Okay. John, you good? Okay. All right, so we're outstanding. So one of the most beautiful parts of this specific ceremony that you guys did today was that you stopped and you said each veteran's name. That is hugely impactful. We strive to honor every veteran. And I want to ask the question, well, who are these veterans? And chaps, with a little bit of permission and grace, I'm going to modify the good book a little bit. You're not supposed to do that, they say. But I'd like you to think, as I quote this next passage, it wasn't just God that asked this question, but it's this country each and every time there's a call to arms. From Isaiah. And the Lord asked, who shall I send? And who will go for us? And each of them said, here am I, send me. And they went. Whether they enlisted or were commissioned, didn't matter. Every one of them, every one of you that has served, did the exact same thing. We all signed the bottom line. So when you sign that document, what they did and what you did was to sign a blank check to the government of the United States for a value up to and including your life. The poet R.J. Wright once wrote, these tombstones are the receipts for this American way of life. They went. I'd like to read a short poem by Vaughn Walker Coop. It is the veteran, not the preacher, who has given us freedom of religion. It is the veteran, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It is the veteran, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the veteran, not the protester, who has given us freedom to assemble. It is the veteran, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the veteran, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It is the veteran who salutes the flag, who serves under the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag. Today we honor the dead. Carry that honor forward by thanking a veteran or a person in uniform. A simple thank you for your service or a thanks for my freedom will do. Webster's dictionary defines a salute as a sign of goodwill or respect. If you are in uniform and you happen upon a veteran, render a salute. They've absolutely earned it. The next pillar I want to touch upon is teach. And this is perhaps my highest honor, to be the gray wolf and teach the young wolves. With 44 years of service in the Navy, I've had the blessing of being around a little bit. I've done a couple things, and it has just been phenomenal. I will tell you that my recruiting pitch back then, for those of you that remember, the Navy, it's not just a job, it's an adventure, right? As a recon guy, a SEAL team guy, and a guy that went downrange a few times, I can tell you it's been an adventure. They didn't lie. So my recruiter didn't lie. I don't know who else's has, but mine didn't. So I wear my dog tags every day when I'm in uniform, and I make it a point to be outside for colors and salute that flag, whether it's going up or coming down, as a small way to honor those who have gone before me, those who have taught me, those who have led me. And for many years, I've taught military topics to both officers and enlisted sailors. So we do these formation runs, the cadence calls and all that you see. And I have a special one we call the graveyard run. And we actually stop here at this very cemetery to honor those buried here. It is a very, very moving run, pardon the pun. I teach them to have them remember and honor our veterans and remind them that they too will be veterans someday. And what I have learned as the Gray Wolf is this, that we are in good hands with those we are leading and training. I have had the absolute privilege to have served with my wife and 3 of my very own children. I served on active duty for almost 6 years with my wife and for almost 5 years with my daughter, both who are now veterans. I am currently on active duty with both of my sons. We do not have enough people serving, but the ones we do have are simply stellar. You can rest assured that we really are in good hands. The great theologian Whitney Houston, oh, that's some of my best material. Let me try that again. The great theologian Whitney Houston hit the nail on the head in her song Greatest Love of All when she said, "I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way." She also says, "Everybody's searching for a hero." This country has some of its heroes right here among us and buried right here on these hallowed grounds. It has been one of the highest peaks of my 4 decades of serving to teach. We have to keep teaching the next generations about our veterans. We must. The theme for Wreaths Across America this year is Serve and Succeed. And I don't know who came up with that, Buster, but it's phenomenal. Your aunt? All right, good for her, because it rings so true. So, now to the young wolves. It matters not, door kicker or computer electron kicker. It doesn't matter what you do in the service. It all matters. It all counts. Abraham Lincoln said, "Whatever you are, be a good one." So as the Gray Wolf, I get to counsel, guide, drink my coffee as I watch the young wolves serve. And I listen as they complain. Complain about uniform inspections, customs and courtesies, sir, ma'am, okay. They complain about formations and timeliness. I know a lot of you veterans know this one. When you teach these young ones, if you are early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're okay. That's right. And then I remind them after they complain that after all, it is the military, and they are called orders, not invitations. And that while we in the military absolutely defend democracy, we do not practice it. So then we go out and do the inspections and the formations and those things. It is said about military service that first, you become a part of it. Then it becomes a part of you. The veracity of those words cannot be overstated. Many of these kids become veterans after their honorable service to this country. And civilian employers love veterans. I get phone calls all the time with employers calling me about the people we've recommended for them, the veterans that we recommend when they go for jobs and things like that. And these employers are literally doing cheetah flips. They are so happy. I get things like, "Casey, I can't believe it. They're on time, they actually work, and they improve the company's reputation just by the way they act." And then on the other side, I'll get calls from those veterans. And it's great because they'll say things very excitedly like, "Sir, I can't believe how easy it is to succeed in the civilian business. All I do is show up on time in a clean set of clothes and I get to work." So I listen. Then I grab my coffee, take a sip, and I smile as I watch them succeed. In closing, I want to thank each and every one of you for what you did here today. Let us honor the veterans buried here by being grateful for the freedoms that they gave us. If you can, be kind, be thoughtful. As you enjoy those freedoms, when you think about it, remember these veterans and their sacrifices. May God bless you, God bless our veterans, and God bless the United States of America.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm good. My stuff blew over, so it takes me a second to get. We're going to have now a person. If you notice over here, I have children. Some a little older than others. Some a lot younger. That should be getting ready. First wreath we're going to place is actually, I believe, by my granddaughter, is going to present a wreath for the United States Army. She done this when she was about 6 the first time. No, go ahead. Go ahead. If anybody wants to get where they can see a little bit, go ahead. I'm sorry, but we kind of ran out of room today. Now they'll place a wreath in the memory of the people that served the United States and the people serving in the Marine Corps. Now a wreath for the United States Navy. A wreath now for the United States Air Force. Now we'll place a wreath now for the Air Force Space Command, Space Force. I'm not used to that one yet. Now a wreath for the United States Coast Guard. Now a wreath for the United States Merchant Marines. Now a wreath will be placed for the missing in action, prisoners of war. Next wreath is that we do here in Pensacola to recognize the civilian personnel that contribute a ton. For Captain Casey and the CO, they all know, and all you senior enlisted out there know that the civil service puts a lot in too. I mean, it's a bunch. So we're going to recognize. The next one is that. I got something else written here, but that my wife wrote and told me I had permission to say. Here it is. The last wreath is kind of important, I think, to every one of us standing out here. They're going to place a wreath right now. This is 2 of our truck drivers that's been coming here for years. These guys deliver these wreaths over 2,020 miles to us. They've been doing it now for 16 years. The gentleman standing there in the jean shirt that just presented the wreath was one of our first truck drivers that ever came to Pensacola. He was out of commission for us for a while. He had a bout with cancer, and as you can see, he's back, rolling along. Extremely proud of Jim. The other guy standing in front of him is Bill McGuire, works for Hannaford Trucking out of Portland, Maine, I believe it is. He's been coming here for 6 years, I think, 6 or 7. Same thing, all the way from Maine and down to here. Great guy. He just makes sure we get our stuff and taking care of us. So there's so many people to thank. And my wife always tells me not to thank individuals because I'll miss somebody, you know, and I found out that that's true. But for everybody here today, I want to thank you very much for being here. Captain Casey, Captain Chinesti, Chaplain, this young lady over here that sang for us. And again, I kind of skipped around this, Donna. I apologize. I know I'll pay for it later. As a chief, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So when I do that, it's not just the chiefs. I got some real good friends here that's helped me in the last 16 years. Mr. Bill Johnston, Miss Amy, not Mr. Amy, Miss Amy. We call her a Mr. as much as we can. And the guy that started with us about 3 years ago when I got sick and missed my only Wreaths Across America visit here at Barrancas is Senior Chief Frenchie Gautreau, who's now moved back to Pensacola. So you're going to be stuck with him every year. So we're going to be try to do what we can. And I can tell you, I'm not going to thank individuals, but there's some folks out here I just want to recognize, and that'd be Craig LaChance, the director out here at the cemetery. A hell of a job. Place looks super every time you come out here. And his entire staff. Looking for Martin Haygood and his troops, which are the Kiwanis of Big Lagoon. They're the ones that come up with the idea of placing the wreaths around the cemetery so it's easier for us to get them put out. It used to be pull up there with a truck and then we had problems. So we've changed that thanks to them. Anybody that sees pictures that goes on our website, that's Wreaths Across America project, Pensacola project, is normally put on there by Miss Amy. She's been running here and doing the wall south today and trying to get pictures of everybody. And then picks on me because I got a big nose or whatever it is. So anyway. And people probably want to be prepared. It's going to be a gun salute. Please keep facing the cemetery for a moment.
Day is done, gone the sun, from the lakes, from the hills, from the sky. All is well, safely rest. God is nigh. Thanks and praise for our days, 'neath the sun, 'neath the stars, 'neath the sky. As we go, this we know, God is nigh.
Color guard, post colors.
And salute. Ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the ceremony for this year. I thank each and every one of you coming out, and hopefully we can see you again next year. We will cover this place.